Welcome in, everyone, to Barely Educated, episode 123. We are here to kind of maybe sort of preview the incredible matchup that is the Brian Hoyer, Aiden McConnell, whoever's quarterbacking the Raiders, versus the Tyson Bagent. Bagent, guys, Bagent. Just agent with a B. We can do this together. But anyway, the Tyson Bagent-led Bears. Boy, can you just feel the excitement just wafting off the lake.
If you go to some corners of Bears Twitter, wow, there's a lot of excitement. But yeah, I'm not feeling that. I am not feeling the Bagency, you know. So
TB17. I'm going to run that into the ground.
Tell me why. Ain't nothing but no.
You suck, Chris.
Why is it that he can fumble a ball that's returned for a touchdown and throw one of the worst underthrown passes I've ever seen in an NFL game, and Bears fans are like, you know, we got to give this guy a shot. We may have something here.
You may have a backup. It'd be great if you could establish that he could be a nice, cheap backup. That'd be great.
Why are we doing this again it's just like Caleb Haney and Josh McCown, although McCown was a veteran at that point.
Whoa. A Caleb reference that didn't end in the word Williams? What is this?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Jimmy Clausen. Oh, maybe Matt Barkley's the guy.
We know. Oh my God, please, no.
My point is we're doing it again.
Because it's what we are.
I don't like
what's
being like
been
this.
Faded by the football gods.
I refuse to be part of that.
That's fine. I agree. The backup is better conversation is annoying.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, Tyson Bagent with the whole thing with his dad being a 28-time arm wrestling champion and his tattoo sleeve. He's on the wrong team this week. That guy should be a Raider, clearly.
Yeah. He's got some Max. What's his name? Max Rush.
Crosby.
That's it. It's gonna be Max Rush. Oh boy. But yeah,
Max Rush really whooped Carson Palmer today.
Yeah, he did, my friend. He said on.
Oh gosh, yeah, Tyson Bagent. I don't know. I hope he plays well enough to be the backup. That's the ceiling, in my opinion.
Yes.
Everyone's like Brock Purdy was Mr.
My God,
that doesn't happen very often. Tom Brady 6th. Yes, we're all aware. How many other QBs drafted in those 2 rounds and or signed as undrafted free agents went on to be good starters?
Yeah.
Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a short list. Hey, if it happened, wow, that'd be awesome. But why are we expecting it? Come on.
That's what bothers me. It's like, well, Tom Brady was a 6th rounder, therefore undrafted Division II guy will also be great.
And where did Brady go again?
Yeah, he may have. Michigan had some better Division 1. It's just absurd, and I'm sick that we're here again, and I'm sick that we're gonna see like the Bears scratching out 17 points, and but look, Bagent, at least he didn't turn the ball over, which he probably will.
You know what's gonna irritate me more than anything in a potential scenario? The offense looking like it fits the quarterback.
And
going, so the coaches now they coach it to the quarterback.
Yeah, well, if Eberflus said that.
They haven't actually done it in like a year. They did it briefly last year. And I don't think for a second the Commanders game is evidence of that. That's backyard football when the coaches don't have time to do anything to screw it up.
They only had 4 days to not put in.
But all of a sudden they're going to know how to throw a quick game slant and a quick out and a quick hitch, which they did all the time against the Commanders again. And you're going to be like, where was that against the Vikings?
But even still, it's going to be like 17 points of offense.
No, I don't even think it'll get there. But yeah, you're right. You're somewhere in there.
Yeah. And I texted you about this, but for our dear listeners, I watched the Tyson Bagent Senior Bowl, all of his plays, so you didn't have to. No.
Chris has been possessed by the spirit of former student Tim, doing all this extra film watching.
Influencing me, yes.
Shut up, Tim.
Sorry, how the turntables. Insert your Michael Scott gif.
I love that. But okay, so in the Senior Bowl, he never threw a pass over 10 yards. He didn't.
Well, based on the other day, that's probably the right approach.
Yeah, exactly. He
threw Did the wind catch that one that was intercepted? Like, what was that? While we're on that one
It's a
bad
bad
throw for a second,
throw. That's his
like,
arm.
yeah, that's bad. And even the one where Scott came back for it, I think it was Scott. It was like, was he trying to get that out of bounds and it died on him?
Oh no,
So point is,
maybe.
that might be two really like weak arm strength throws. He's probably just got average arm strength, whether we want to face the facts or not, which is why he's not been drafted.
So an
Anyway, so back to the Senior Bowl. Sorry.
undrafted Division II arm. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
looks
that's what
like.
I'm getting at. Yeah.
He
10-yard
threw
slants, got it.
a red zone interception. He did scramble a lot when pressure got in, so that was nice. But we don't like that, right? We don't like scrambling when there's pressure, but they'll like it when Bajan does it Sunday for some reason. There was one other thing that really just struck me. Oh yeah, he no attempts downfield. It was just like that. That tracks. That's kind of what I expected to see. So again, I just don't. There was nothing that jumped off the film that said, "Ooh, I see some potential in this guy."
Yeah, he played way better in the preseason than any of us had any
Yeah,
clue, right, that he could do.
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not here for all the meatball
Yeah, I'm
takes.
sorry.
Even
I'm
if he
sorry.
plays well, we need way more than one game to know
Yeah,
anything.
and
And
also,
yeah, I get it. I get people who are down on Fields and even out on Fields, as I've said numerous times. Like, every time he plays as badly as he did, it makes you that much closer to replacing him. And
yep.
and I don't really want to, but I feel like we're certainly in that conversation. But they also don't use Fields well. Like, he does certain things elite. Like, his numbers throwing 20 yards and up and further are as good as anybody's in the league. So are his
Hmm.
red zone numbers.
Yep.
And then he's absolutely, has a drop back stuck in molasses half the time. You're like, why are the feet so slow? Like, that did stand out to me when Bajent came in.
Yes.
I was like, that's a drop back. Why
Hmm.
can't our awesome athlete do this?
Yep. Yeah.
Something is wrong with what they've coached him up, and it's messing up the timing and it's throwing everything off. And that's not just me, that's former QBs talking about how that's the whole thing that's messed it up. Then you add bad snaps,
Oh.
which he manages to catch. But yeah, that 1 second where you have the footwork plus the bad snap, that's the play's dead
Hmm.
for a lot of plays.
With
So like,
consistent blitzing too. Yeah.
Bajent's footwork being better might actually be something that does stand out, that he does better. That's legitimately something we need to see more improvement from Fields. But his arm doesn't look to me to be capable of anywhere near what Justin can do there. And so to me, this is still just, are you good enough to be a backup? And then when's Justin back?
Hmm.
Because this season was always on some level about evaluating him. But now
Hmm.
that you're 1-5, it's even more so only about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like he may not need surgery. Did I read that right?
Well, wasn't that halftime or something of the game last night?
Oh,
Rappaport had a report that he doesn't need surgery. It was Rappaport, who's like the best in the
yeah,
biz.
yeah. That's what I was. My daughter had a concert, so I didn't get to watch last night's game, so I missed that.
How
But
dare you put fathering over the Jags Saints?
I know, I know.
Surprisingly entertaining game, actually. It was like a train wreck and entertaining all at the same time.
Hmm.
It looked
Nice.
for a while like it was going to be one of those Al Michaels is already hitting the whiskey bottle in the third quarter kind of games, and then it got much more entertaining. You believe in miracles? Yes! Probably more entertaining than the Bears will be.
Yeah. Yeah. Most
But I
likely.
also am just not looking forward to the crowd going completely ballistic at the slightest little achievement of Bajent. It's
That's
just
what
going
we
to
do.
feel awkward to me.
That's what we do.
It is. That's
He gets
kind
the
of to the
ball out
point
quick.
you were making.
Yep. He gets the ball out quick. He's got good
I
footwork. Yeah, but we lost. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm more interested in this big picture conversation, even though I don't want to constantly do the Williams Fields thing, like I said
Sure.
last week. I just don't have much to say about the Raiders versus Bears, with the Bears starting a backup QB, maybe not having Darnell Wright, maybe
Ugh.
having their like 30th combo of O line in the Eberflus era. And so like the matchup doesn't interest me that much.
Yeah.
Max Crosby, really good. Devontae Adams, really good. Raiders better than Bears. But there are some big picture things that I think are interesting. Number one, and I was talking to cousin Nate about this
Yes,
before we hopped
cousin.
on.
Hello, cousin.
2 points relating to a cousin Nate conversation. The first one is, apparently this was actually addressed by Hogan Johns, but I haven't listened that far into the pod yet because I was like, I have a big picture Raiders thought for you. And I told him, he's like, oh yeah, they discussed this on Hogan Johns. I'm like, really? I'm not done with the episode yet, apparently. But I would rather be the Bears than the Raiders right now, even though the Raiders are definitely better and they're probably going to win because the Raiders are in NFL purgatory. No QB, need to fire their coach, almost certainly will within the next year or two, if not this year, then next. Have enough talent to win a few games, just enough to keep them out of the top 3 to 5 for the QB, where you normally get your franchise QB, and really no path to actually contending for much of anything. And you could even add being in the Chiefs division is a problem.
Yes, it is.
And yet they're probably going to come in here and beat the Bears 20-10 in some disgusting game. And I want Bears fans, I want all of you to realize as you're looking at the third quarter and it's 13-3, it's better to be a Bears fan right now. We have a path and they don't. And I know that sounds ridiculous because who isn't sick of losing at this point?
Yeah.
But the best thing for this team, with Fields hurt especially, is to embrace the tank. Guys, we're here again, and no amount of wishing otherwise is going to change it. If you, like me, want to hold to a Super Bowl standard, not a I just want to see them play better standard, but one that actually matters because you would like to win one before you die, then you want to bottom out and get those draft picks. You really do. This win would be meaningless.
Yes, it would.
I mean, it'd be nice to win a Sunday game at home for the first time in over a year. How is that even possible? My gosh, the coaches. But this isn't, you're not winning anything this year. And so if the Bears lose this game, great. We just eliminated one of the tankers. It's a win-win again. It's like it was with Minnesota. And that's where we're at because we're that bad. But that's better than being mediocre with no path to the QB.
Yeah, that's very true. I think
And our QB might still be on the roster. It depends on how he finishes the year. But either way, we have 2 paths to the QB. 3 if you count Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And our own pick as
separate
ones.
I would definitely count
definitely
Carolina.
should count. I was thinking if you wanted to go the draft versus Fields, or you could go 2 options in the draft and Fields, giving you 3 routes. And Raiders don't have a route.
Yeah.
They're going to have to trade up. And we know what happens when you trade up. You can't put enough talent around.
Yeah, that's Carolina, whatever.
For a year or two.
Yeah. If Fields comes back, if he needed surgery and was going to miss, like 5-6 weeks, I think that it would have been done and over with him. But if he can come back next week or even the week after and still have, 9 games, 8-9 games, those will still be valuable to evaluating for the future. Just depends.
We desperately need that to happen, regardless of whether we're replacing him. We need him to come back and establish some value, or establish that he's the franchise guy.
Yeah.
And as long as if he's not, like, if there is a scenario where they trade him, he's an easy guy to root for as long as he's not in the division.
Yeah. Well, they'd probably trade him to AFC, or at least somewhere one of the other NFC divisions. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it in division. Who wants a quarterback right now that would? I mean, the Vikings don't have Cousins signed, but they're not trading him.
Yeah.
So I feel like either way, we need him to come back as far as what's best for the franchise. And I don't even just mean as a fan for the entertainment factor, which is of course a part of the story for 3 hours each week. But I want to see him come back because it's good for the long term. Either way.
Yeah.
I suspect, based on Rappaport's report, that we'll get some story about how he's going to try to go next week, and then maybe he isn't quite ready and then plays after that. Totally a guess. Now, of course, we're recording at 12 on Friday, and so here at 2 or 3, there will be a real update.
Yes, there will. That's the way it goes for us, every time.
As per usual.
Yeah.
So you agree with my Raiders thought about how it's actually way worse to be in their spot, even though they have a couple stars and they have more wins. They're
absolutely.
a totally meaningless 3-3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I don't see Coachy what's his name lasting after this year.
Daniels.
McDaniels. This is his second go around, and it's still bad. So
some guys just get over promoted.
He's not so good without Tom Brady, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Bill Belichick may do the same thing.
Yeah, just another one, huh? So other news.
Other news.
The week that was. First of all, upon further review, yeah, I said the line was bad and they were bad. I thought Fields held the ball too long and he held the ball too long. Sorry, people. He held the ball for 6.5 seconds on the play he got hurt.
Yeah, it really compounded as the game went on. The pressure with him waiting longer and longer. Yeah, it was bad. If things aren't clicking right away, like they were against Washington and even Denver, he just can't seem to reverse course. At least not.
No, and I think the coaching isn't good enough to reverse course either.
Correct, I agree.
Like it's just not working. It's not working. And it snowballs. And I still would say the coaching was the biggest problem in that game on that side of the ball, anyway.
Yep.
So I don't have a whole lot to change. The play where the Bears blocked each other is absolute comedy gold.
That does not satisfy my logic circuits.
Oh, whitey coat hair. Woo.
Yep.
Was he concussed? Maybe he was concussed. And
anytime any of them, maybe that's what's wrong with the coaches.
They're concussed.
They're just concussed all the time from trying to operate by the hits principle.
What was the Eberflus line? Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table, and nothing's on the table.
It's like everything's off the table, but it's on the table. I think the table is hanging out with Matt Nagy's wives, and we just have to find it.
Oh, yes.
That was maybe the dumbest thing I've heard a coach say since Trestman said that they were going to be selfish and undisciplined. As a slip of the tongue that turned out to be entirely accurate. Matt Eberflus. See, this is the thing. I hated the hire. I think he's an absolute dork. I think they're terrible at coaching during the game, and I think his mantra is stupid during the week. But you know what really kills me this year? How are you supposed to be a good coach, a good analytical job, right? Good at an analytical job, a job where you have to outthink someone. If you can't talk, he's so inarticulate. How does he explain anything to the team?
Right.
All right. We're gonna put you out of position, and we're gonna have you press corners. You're gonna play a soft zone, 10 yards off the ball, and we're gonna right there's the line that the first down thingy. Where's the green beans? He's so inarticulate. I don't see how he could communicate well enough to explain a detailed concept if he even had one. I'm dead serious. Like
I know.
The baseline is so simple to hit some of this stuff, and he can't even do that. It's like,
are you stupid or something?
Dead in the water. Everybody knows that, but how did he win the interview? I just boggles my mind. That's just the agent thing.
And that
I just can't get away from that one.
Yeah, and that's what scares me and bothers me the most about polls too. Is why did you say that you found him? You found the guy. Maybe you were blowing smoke because you had to pick one of those three. So if you had to pick one of those three, are you really the GM?
Well, and one of them removed himself.
I forgot about that. Okay.
Dan Quinn was like, never mind. And then I would obviously have preferred Caldwell because of the offense point.
Yeah. So that scares me about polls. Like, he picked Eberflus.
Yeah, this is a bad look for the organization, period, because either they basically hired a young GM and held his hand about the coach. Let's see. Did they do that before? Let's see.
No.
Ryan Pace and, John Fox. It's all a problem. I'm not a coordinator, but I coordinate all three. So like we aren't learning from that stupid lesson. Or he's a neutered GM, which I think was a point you made a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't look great. I'm not going to hold the individual choice against him, but I do think it's the whole point about trying to sync all this up together better. And I don't know that they did. And I don't know if he really had that much say or not. And I don't know if he deserves another swing at it, quite frankly. That's going to be a conversation all year. And I'm here for, we can do that real quick because I had a thought this morning about that. I was thinking about the biggest player acquisitions in the Ryan Poles tenure, which is very brief, of course. Not the whole asset management. I've complimented him a lot in the past about that, and I maintain that. But I'm talking about actually who he's acquired and what he's kind of famous for amongst Bears fans. What is the conversation about his player acquisition? Because that's still the main job of a GM. And of the four biggest, only one's a positive. You can make of that what you will, but the only one people are like happy about is DJ Moore trades. Yeah. The other big stories, like if you think about it, well, you tell me, what are the other big moves in the Ryan Poles era? Acquisition or removing players, I guess I should clarify.
Well, does he get points for getting rid of Chase Claypool, or does he lose points for having traded for Chase Claypool?
When you look at what the picks coming each way, where he loses.
Yeah.
I like the process of getting Fields help, but
Yeah, trying to do that, yeah.
your job is to be better at scouting than me,
Yep.
and you should have known some of the character concerns. So, but the point is, every Bears fan calls that trade a loss, even if I'm one of the few who's like trying to remember what I said originally about it. It's obviously a loss now.
Yeah.
Okay. Roquan Smith trade.
Oh, he's looking good for Baltimore.
I'm happy to get something for a guy you're not going to re-sign, but I think you can claim that he took the negotiations personally, both Poles and Smith, which is a bad look for the Bears, right? You got to be above that. Roquan kind of signed his own paper slip a little bit with the Family Day letter thing. But here's the thing that gets me too on that one. Can we please stop forcing scheme onto good players? Like, maybe if your best player on defense is a linebacker in a 3-4, you should stay with a 3-4 and hire a coach that runs a 3-4 or brings in a coordinator who will run a 3-4. I'm sorry, but if your scheme can't make use of Roquan Smith's considerable talents, even though I think he's a little bit of a goofy guy, he's obviously really good at football. What is your scheme? It's not like a 3-tech where it's like a specific thing. Like, he should be able to play at anything. Why was he so bad for Eberflus? Well, maybe now we know because he's a dreadful coach.
But even that, like, why do you not try to find a 3 technique when that's the defense your coach runs?
Why did you go for one? Why did you go for one last year? And didn't tear up the contract, which is fine if he's really hurt. Good on you. That's a tough decision.
Yeah.
But then not go for one after that. Did he already lose faith in Eberflus? There's a lot of weird stuff with this roster. That's kind of my point. Then the next one is not drafting certain people. Like, if you're just talking like Bears Pulse on Twitter and online, they love the DJ Moore trade. They hate the Claypool trade. They hate not drafting George Pickens. A lot of people hate not drafting Jalen Carter. I tend to think that one's not that fair because of the culture issue, which I still think is somewhat silly, but I think he's probably not playing like he plays for the Eagles if he's a Bear.
Yep.
There's a lot of baggage there. So, like, my point is, there's a lot of moves that people are just like really down on. Is the one move enough to save his job? Is the fact that it's only been 2 years enough to save his job? Because the record's dreadful, and most of the acquisitions have been bad.
Yep.
And they still don't have a center. They can't snap the ball. Snapping the ball is the most basic task of a football team.
Yeah, and this draft was a center-rich, center-depth draft, and I'm still surprised they didn't grab one in like the 3rd or 4th round. That's a good place to. I don't mind spending a draft pick on a center in the 3rd round. You know, some people think that's too high, but
no, perfectly
okay
fine.
Yeah.
So my point overall is there's probably more to not like than to like. Definitely in the acquisitions. Does all that make up for the assets being carefully managed? And I don't know about his positional value. He gave it lip service and then signed 2 linebackers when he had Jack Sanborn and really only needed to sign Edwards.
And that's a case
that was dumb. But that looked like he was finally doing something for the coach.
Right, for the system, yes.
But the corners don't fit it still.
No. And neither do
the
D linemen. Neither are the D linemen you drafted.
So like, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm not sure on Poles yet. I'm out on the coaches, and if they wanted to fire both Poles and Eberflus, I wouldn't shed any tears.
Yeah, that's where I am with that. Like, I'd understand if they kept Poles, but I won't be upset if they don't. Yeah.
And let's let the season play out also, but I think it's worth revisiting because what's coming up next week?
Sunday night, right, against Chargers?
Trade
deadline.
The trade deadline. Sorry, I was going to say that involves Poles.
Yes.
Why aren't we extending Jalen Johnson?
I don't know.
Is he really being that outrageous with his demands when he doesn't have a ton of interceptions? He's a good corner. Yeah. He is not a top shelf corner. You should be able to pay him like a good corner and keep him. Stop making more holes on the roster as I bang the missing table. Seriously. We cannot. He's young. He's good. I know he gets hurt. Okay, take that into account if you have to in the deal, but figure it out. We can't constantly not bring these guys back. He's signed 1 Bear commit.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Bears aren't that good. There's not that many guys you're like, oh, we got to have him back. But isn't Jalen one of them?
He is. Yep.
Are we that convinced in the corners he's drafted? Because I sure ain't, man. Jalen's way better than either one of them.
Yeah. I think Stevenson still has some promise, but he's still getting picked on. But I guess as a rookie,
getting a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
I actually might like Terrell Smith better, but now he hurt his ankle or whatever.
Yeah.
And Gordon can't stay on the field. And looks like he'll be pretty good in the slot, but okay, great. You still need 2 on the outside, and you've only got 2 with Jalen in the fold.
Yeah.
You want to trade Eddie Jackson? Be my guest. I think his foot is probably chronic at this point, which is sad, but that's a decent enough guy to move for a late pick. You're not going to – he's not a part of the long term. He's too injury prone. He's getting to be the wrong age. Jalen is not that age. You want to trade Mooney? I feel like Mooney would succeed somewhere else, but I can understand saying, well, we've got a loaded wide receiver draft, and we're not going to be able to pay him. He's not producing enough. Fine, I understand it, but they should not trade Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
What do you think about Mooney?
Oh, I like Mooney.
I like him. I just wouldn't be that bothered if they traded him.
Yeah, he's not going to be any higher than 3rd wide receiver, especially if one of those first picks this coming draft they grab Marvin Harrison Jr.
Please, Lord, please.
Yeah. So there's your you got a 1 and 2 right there.
Do something to make the other team scared of you besides Justin running.
Yeah.
And Mooney's regressing a little bit, actually, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, maybe he's
it's hard to say. The offense is so dysfunctional. All right, like they trade him to Jacksonville and he busts out. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm just throwing out a team randomly.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that's a little different, but I think it's going to be an interesting deadline because they're obviously not buyers. They should probably be sellers, and yet you really like the guys that they would sell. Like I don't really want them to sell these people, but I understand one of them. The other one I think would be really dumb.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, shall we pick it?
Sure.
All right. Oh, one other thing about the game. Why are we still signing?
Oh no!
I'm so frustrated at how they seem to be doing this. Now we'll see Sunday. It appears like they're going to do Borum, Whitehair, Patrick,
yep.
Jenkins back to the right side because remember, Nate Davis is hurt, and then Wright might be out, and then they'll start somebody we've never heard of there. Fine. Can we just leave the young guys alone?
I know.
And let them develop? Why are we starting Whitehair over Carter at this point?
I don't know. Yeah, leave.
And
Jenkins
now you're making Jenkins move again? No, do not do that. Borum, Jenkins,
whoever,
anyone else at center off the street that can snap a football. Carter, hopefully right. Let Carter get more reps. He actually looks okay. I don't really see him as a problem. Why are they like, we got to play the veteran this year? There's a guy you trade. Go ahead and trade Cody Whitehair for a 6th rounder while you're at it because he's been a good Bear. He is not a partier long term. I have nothing personally against him. They jerked him around a lot too with the whole center thing, and he couldn't snap. I said it this summer.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of guy that you go ahead and trade because you have young guys you need to get a look at. Why on earth is he still starting when the season you're 1-5? Can you guys just face the facts once in your lives? You're not going to take the North and give it back. Play the young guys. There's no upside to Carter to Whitehair and Patrick.
Is that because Flus thinks that's our best chance to win is playing?
Oh, of course. You got to win every game and every rep, right? Hits.
But not with those guys who are bad. Like
even if they were amazing, right? You could still say, hey, we should play the kids. Maybe not this early, but you wouldn't be that far down the road in this season where you'd start saying, let's play the guys that need to develop. And if Whitehair was good, that's even more reason to trade him because you're not going to re-sign a guy at 33 at that number when you're not a contender, right? Like, what are they doing? I mean, I'm saying right like I'm the coach. Oh, God.
Right.
I'm just saying, Chris, it's on the table, but it's off the table.
They're very naive and stupid people.
So there you go. All right. Who you got? Bears, Raiders.
I'm going Raiders 24, Bears 17.
I've got the pain of watching this for 3 hours, absolutely slaughtering all the fans. I've got the Raiders 20, Bears 10. Until proven otherwise, I'm not buying it.
Yep. Yeah,
right, Detroit.
No Bagent mania here. That's all. Yeah.
Here's a good game involving a division. We got to do the Panthers and the division, right?
Yes.
Right.
Right.
That was an actual right. That was not a filler right. That was an actual question for the record.
It was not a Darnell right either.
No, I hope he plays.
Sorry.
I like watching him play.
I know.
Detroit at Baltimore. 5-1 and 4-2 are the records.
Mm-hmm.
Good game.
Yeah. They're in Baltimore?
Yep.
All right. I like Detroit in that one by 4, I'll say.
Okay, so Baltimore was favored by 3, so it's a pick 'em because the home team is getting the field goal in this
I'll
spread.
go like 27-23 Detroit.
Okay, I'm going to do pretty much the opposite. I'll say 24-20 Baltimore. I think Detroit is doing great things,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think it's the league. You know, you lose a few here and there even when you're good, and this is the kind of game that's certainly a tough opponent on the road.
Yep.
But man, they win that one, and they beat the Chiefs on the road. That's a heck of a season. I mean, this Detroit thing is for real.
Yes, it is.
It's for real either way. But let's see. Oh man, this is a fun spread. Oh gosh, Green Bay at Denver.
Ooh.
Denver is getting a point, which means Vegas thinks Green Bay's terrible.
Wow.
Because everybody else gets to be favored by like 10, except for the Bears and Packers when they play the Broncos. So Vegas is out on Green Bay, which that's kind of funny.
That is. That's nice. That warms my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've watched Jordan Love play, you should be out on him. You know?
Fair.
I mean, except that first game against the Bears. When he's not playing the Bears or getting 70 yards of pass interference from the refs, he
Pretty
is not
much.
good. Yep.
Yep. I'm going to say, gosh, what a debacle of a game this has the potential to be. I think Denver's still just such a mess that LaFleur will probably figure out ways to move the ball enough.
Yep.
Is Aaron Jones playing? I'll say Green Bay if Aaron Jones plays, and I'll take Denver if he doesn't. How's that for hedging?
No, that makes sense.
I think he's that important against a defense that bad. He could totally kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Green Bay finds a way. This smells like a 2019 or 21-19 win by the Packers to me.
One of those ugly ones they eke out.
Yep.
All right,
Mhm.
Monday night, 5-1
yes.
Niners at the 2-4 Vikings.
Hmm.
Vikings getting a touchdown on the spread, even though they're at home.
Yeah, Vikings are bad. The Bears couldn't do a thing.
We're just worse. The Bears are just worse.
Yeah, the Bears are worse.
Niners will be
Bears
mad about
worse.
losing. They're going to blow their doors off.
Yeah,
The Jefferson-less
so.
Vikings aren't going to stand a chance.
Yep.
But they'll keep it close because it's kind of what they do. You're going to be like, what? They're down 2 touchdowns and then they'll score a garbage one.
Yep.
But the Niners will have full control the whole way.
When you have a game manager quarterback like they do, that's generally how you win games. Is close ones.
Yeah. And they're just so loaded everywhere else that's like one of the few rosters that can do that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the only.
All right, one other one because this is a heck of a game. This is the game to watch. 5-1 Miami at 5-1 Philly.
Ooh,
Philly favored
yes.
by 2.5. Practically a pick 'em.
Practically, yeah. Miami's got the best offense, or at least the better offense this year than the Eagles.
Yeah, Hurts coming off of one of his worst games as a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Miami.
Yeah.
You know, they got rolled by Buffalo. They've basically stomped everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Buffalo's good enough that, you know, you can see where they could just beat anybody pretty good any given week.
Yeah, I don't.
This one's tough.
It is, because I wouldn't expect the Eagles to lose 2 in a row. But
and you don't want to pick against them at home?
Yeah.
And you'd probably pick Miami in Miami?
I would.
It seems so lame to just pick the home team, but I just think the good teams tend to bounce back. Like the Niners and the Eagles, I think both bounce back. But I think Miami's playing better, so it's hard to pick. I'll say Philly in a really fun 34-31 kind of game.
High offense.
Just because I guess I'm going to buy into the bounce back, but I wouldn't go anywhere near this game, buddy Brian. Unless you just want to pick the over.
This could be a game where Jalen Carter hurts Tua. You know,
gosh.
I am still worried about Tua.
Yeah,
you know?
he's held up so far.
If Carter gets in on one of those, ooh, bad things could happen. But yeah, I'm leaning your way too, and Philly like winning by 3 or 4. Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, the Carolina Panthers. Bad news, everyone. I believe they have a bye.
Okay, well.
So the comfort that I take weekly from the Panthers' loss is not available this weekend. Please check in on me. Shoot me a tweet.
I like the bye by 3.
Matt Nagy's coaching the Panthers. Remember that? They'd come out and lose after the bye every week or every year.
Right. Well, they'll still have the first pick after this week, which means the beloved.
It's true. We still get to see that 0
Yep.
in the win column for Carolina.
Yep.
All right, take us away, sir.
Thanks everyone for listening. Are we gonna do a post-game Sunday? How about only if there's something worth talking about? How does that sound?
Yeah, I'm gonna say soft no, but maybe
Okay.
it'll be more entertaining and funnier or something.
Yeah, if it's
I agree with what you said. Yeah.
if it's really good or really bad, let's do it. so no promises on a post game, but check the socials Sunday afternoon. We'll keep you posted. Speaking of socials, those are at @bearlyeducated on Twitter, YouTube, Threads, Instagram. Send us an email, bearlyeducatedpod@gmail.com. Join our honor roll on our Buy Me a Coffee website, which is also at @bearly_educated. For $3 a month, we'll send you a t-shirt as a thank you for supporting our show. We will talk to you down the road.
Hold on.
Oh, what?
We have almost breaking news.
Whoa.
Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels said they'll make a decision on whether to start Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell after practice today.
Okay.
I love all the updates on Twitter that are not updates. Just had to work that in.
Yeah. So when you listen to this, you may know the answer to that already.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bear down.
Hold on to your butts.
Don't make me angry.
My Chicago Bears.
I love the Bears.